Okay, y'all, so today's June 8th, Monday. This is update on my garden, some good news and bad news, but I'm taking it all in stride. So right now, the okra plants and the tomatoes are looking good. They've gotten a lot of true leaves, pretty much with the exception of a few. Pretty much everyone has gotten true leaves. So I know once you get enough true leaves, at some point you are going to have to thin them out, which kind of has me sad because like I don't want to thin them out. I do know there are a few that probably had a bit of heat issues, so I probably might thin out, but it still makes me sad to think about it, but I definitely will have to do that. However, it's come to my attention that I've been ignoring the big rule of gardening, especially container gardening, is that you want to make sure you give your plant roots more than enough space to expand and to grow. And so one of the big issues I didn't pay attention to or wasn't serious about was adequate room. So I didn't really fill up this soil all the way. I should have filled it up a lot more. At this point, I would have to take out every seedling and then refill it up and then put it up a bit higher because I think this is probably like 8-10 inches, which is fine for some seeds, but based on what I've read, for tomatoes you want it has the longest roots, and the same with okra, they both have pretty long roots. So I went to the garden store, and that's Kitty Cat in the lemongrass again, and I picked up these. I saw a video on YouTube from a gardener. She recommended Smart Pot. So this one is a 15, and then this one is a 20. These are actually the last two available at Mesquite Valley. So I picked up those last two. I'm sure I can find more at another place, but for now I just went there because that's what I'm used to, and it's really close to me. And this is what I'll probably be transplanting them into. So I have quite a few tomatoes. So I have these tomatoes, and then I have these. However, they're two different types of tomatoes. This is the Arkansas Traveler tomato, and it has beautiful, beautiful true leaves. Like, they're doing great, but I know I'm gonna need something bigger. This is not enough space. I forgot the second name of this one, but I did start writing a gardening journal so I can take this more seriously and really like write down everything that I'm doing and that I'm seeing so I can know how to learn from my mistakes. So I don't think I'm gonna plant them next to each other since they're two different type of seeds, and I know if I want to collect seeds again, you shouldn't mix them together. So I might have to get another big bag, but they will be, at least one of the two varieties will be transported into here. Then I picked up two of these because I'm trying to think. I think I have a few other plants that need more room. I think the cucumber, I have a lot of seedlings for cucumbers. Those definitely need to start growing on their own. And then the zucchini. Everything else I believe is more shallow, which is fine. I even read corn, which is kind of shallow. That actually shocked me. Corn doesn't have too much of a deep rooting. On this one, it's not doing so well. I guess it didn't root very well, but this one is doing pretty good. I actually learned that this is mostly wind pollinated, which is pretty fascinating. So this is what everything's looking like so far. So I'm going to be doing bit transporting. One of the bad news is, I don't know if I I don't even know if that's a term, but my bok choy seems to be not too happy with me. So the other day I made a video and it showed that I forgot to water it when I transplanted them, and they're kind of drying out. Watered them the very evening, they were fine. However, I had a few outer ones that seemed to slowly be dying off, like this one here, which kind of surprised me. I actually haven't had that. The only time I've had that is when they all lay flat, as though they're not getting enough water and the sun's drying them out. But quite a few of them have had, and I'm actually showing it in here, I've had to pull away because they seem to not be doing so well. So I'm wondering if it's an issue I didn't water consistently, even though I water every day and I check. I did keep them in the shade the rest of the evening when they probably needed more sun than anything. Also, I have not been doing as much fertilizing as I should. So like I said, I started garden journal, and pretty much every plant that I've planted and that I will plant in the future, I made annotations of what kind of fertilizer, the system it needs, whether it's nitrogen, I believe, potassium, and then another one, phosphate, I think, and which one has more than the others. So we'll see if the bok choy makes it or not. It's a good learning lesson. It's a little sad because they're doing very well, but hopefully at least 1 out of 4 survive. I'm hoping that. But outside of that, all the other seedlings are doing pretty well. My edamame is looking really good. We got a few more sprouting because the other seeds didn't sprout, so I put in a few more and it's doing pretty good. The bush beans are doing good. I actually learned bush beans are more of a dwarf type of beans, and so I don't have to worry too much. I may take out a few because I know they do need room, but for now I'm just probably going to focus on the tomatoes, okra, anything with like really large root systems, and then I'll see how I'm going to redo this. But I'm pretty happy so far with the results. I'm definitely going to move things around because I know some plants need more shade than others and some love full sun. So like the okra and the tomatoes love the full sun, and then I know some of the others don't. They prefer a little bit more shade. Oh, and fun fact, so I don't know why this didn't occur to me, but if you've probably seen the first or second video that I had made, and I made it in a third video where I said I got confused what these two are. I planted them in the stacking containers, but stacking containers were actually pretty small. They didn't have much. It was probably a little bit less size, smaller size than this, much soil in it. And then on top of that, the container itself just doesn't have enough inches. And those plants took a very long time to get true leaves compared to the tomatoes here. In less than 2 weeks, all of them have true leaves. These took so long. I repotted them in this and they just took off, which kind of proves the point that they need as much room as possible to grow in. Like, these are just amazing right now. I mean, I was looking at those leaves for like a long time thinking, man, this is taking a while. And the same for these, which I did come to find out these are not the true leaves, and these are definitely the sweet Italian peppers. Funny enough, I had taken one away. I took a thinned out one plant because it wasn't doing very well, so I just left with 2. I found this one growing before I repotted them. I found this one and I was like, wow. So another seed germinated when I had repotted them, and now I repotted them again because it just needs more space. But as you see, they're flourishing quite well. Same with tomatoes. So that's one of the biggest things I've definitely learned. If you give them adequate room, they will flourish. If you put them in really small confined spaces, it's going to take a very long time if they do flourish. So that's one of the biggest tips I'll probably get as a new start gardener. It's a little different, but because I'm used to gardening at my grandma's house where she has an actual backyard for a garden. But gardening containers, I'm slowly getting used to it. So that's pretty much it so far. The next video will definitely be me showing how I transplant everything. Oh, I will show that. So if you notice, I'm having a little bit issues with the lettuce. I think these seeds were a bit too young to transplant. Some of them are doing pretty decent. They're getting some true leaves. Others are kind of, withering away, but it's more than enough seeds to keep going. Enough seedlings to keep going, so I'm not too worried. I got a little bit of a sprout here, and then I have a little sprout here. But my biggest issue was actually Kitty Cat. Kitty Cat, I leave her out on the balcony to enjoy it because she likes the fresh air, and she just loves being out here looking at everyone and everything going on. I found her resting right on top of this bed. Before, she would rest on here in this little tiny space of the bok choy. She would rest on them, so I had to stop that. Then I found her resting on this, so they're a little sad right now, but hopefully I can get some of them revived. But if you have pets, make sure you're watching them, and if you feel like they're gonna rest on certain areas of your plants, probably keep it covered out of the way. I don't know how I'll do for this. I might have to put something else on it, not sure, or put it in a corner and keep her separated. But if you have pets, just be mindful of that when you're balcony gardening, if they love going on the balcony. I also wanted to say the balcony sunshade is doing very good. I really like it. I feel like the plants are getting adequate sun, and it's not covering too much of it. And like I said, you also have sun coming a little bit from the side and then up from the top. So I'm glad that's doing pretty well. But I definitely will have another video update coming soon.